and I think he's en route, but.
All right, we're in.
We'll call our meeting to order. This is a work session of the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Seaside, Park County, Ocean State of New Jersey, held on Thursday, August 10th, 2023, advertised for 7 p.m. Pursuant to the provisions of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting the notice of the meeting for publication in the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger on January 4th, 2023. Notice of the meeting of the governing body has also been posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Thank you. Councilmember Amabile.
Present.
Councilmember Condos.
Here.
Councilmember Kraft.
Here.
Councilmember Dr. McHugh.
I suspect he's en route.
Thank you.
No, I don't think he's gonna.
Oh, he's not. I hadn't talked to him today.
Oh,
Good.
I think he was out of town.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Councilmember Welk.
Here.
Council President DeMichael.
Here.
Mayor Peterson.
Here.
Thank you.
Number 4 is for informational purposes, and it concerns setting a hearing date, and that date looks to be September 14th for Verizon 5G, its small G facilities application, and that date, I don't know if we got full confirmation. We're waiting. The attorney had waived the time period of running of any approvals, but the plan still needed to be finalized and perfected. So that's the last that I heard, but that is a target date about the relocation of the pools of proposals, and there's a letter of recommendation. You see the resolution from the planning board, and there are a number of things, plans to be revised, and that's what's ongoing. So that's where it lies. So I don't know if Gene didn't email, I didn't see anything. No. That's, Gene Cipriani's office has it. The next is a proclamation, and it originated with the Ocean County Historical Society and circulating through the towns, and perhaps that would be best read into the record at the regular meeting. It's to deem recognize and proclaim September 17th to the 23rd as Constitution Week. So maybe I'll hold and read that into the record for the regular meeting. I know the Historical Society is sending it around. The next item is discussion of a proposal of RVE Engineering. It's dated December 14th, 2022 for professional services for 2023 CRS recertification. It's listed as Resolution 2023-221 for consideration at the regular meeting as well. And any background on Tarrant County?
We had held off on that part of their proposal because we had hoped to hire a certified floodplain manager, which we have been unable to do. So the CRS recertification starts in September, so we need to get RVD geared up to require service.
That's about it.
And the fee is typical, from what I recall.
Yeah, and it's from their December of 2022 proposal, and they didn't change it, you know, to now, so.
Okay.
And all our records and everything, really, you know.
Yeah.
Who has to do it?
Yeah, but I understand, yeah.
Okay. And the next is discussion of a proposal provided by CME Associates Engineering. It's dated January 23rd, 2023. And that deals with a marine survey and inspection of the marina. That too is listed as Resolution 2023-224 for consideration at the regular meeting. And this goes back to some issues, and John Cleva, as our marina, head of the marina, has recommended this for inspection just to make sure as to the nature of the facilities, what shape pilings are in, etc.
It wasn't clear from this if the pilings and the finger piers were included in the survey.
This is basically, so this actually started when I was still on council and head of the Marina Committee, because John really wanted to do this because the bulkheading hasn't been, as far as he knows, improved in 30 years. And except for the part of the marina that comes into the marina, most of the bulkhead is still wood. So, it's the desire to have an engineer go in the water and determine how sound the bulkheading is to determine a replacement plan. So we don't find that all of a sudden the whole bulkhead is collapsed all in the same year. So that's the purpose.
But this is just the bulkhead, it's not the pilings for the slips
It's,
nor the finger piers, it's just for the bulkhead.
now, we've replaced a lot of the pilings for the finger piers in the last
I know
couple of
that.
years, yeah. So this is just for the big ticket bulkheading,
Yeah.
just so we can have a replacement plan, so we know where we are in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years,
Yeah, that was done in about 38 years ago,
yeah,
in the early 80s.
yeah.
And back then, creosote was allowed, and it's my understanding that all of the bulkheading is creosote, so it may not be in need of replacement in many spots.
That's the hope.
Right.
Usually when the bulkheading fails, you usually tell because on land it starts to cave in. And really there hasn't been, I haven't noticed or been made aware of any of that going on.
Yeah, I mean, John has noticed where there's a couple, where the bulkhead connects to the dead man behind it, there are some
Yeah.
rusted bolts and things like that, so.
Yeah, I know some pilings are suspect because in the last week, a piling broke.
On
There was a
Tuesday.
big sailboat that was tied up in the transient slip, and with the heavy winds, it snapped the piling.
Yeah, it stopped it right off the top, and then what you could see from looking into the piling, yeah, all the bolts inside, the lag bolts on the outside look great. On the inside, they're all corroded and rusted, and so, yeah, and the wood itself looked, right, so.
In case anyone asks, this estimate includes the divers as well
Yes,
for
it
the
does.
inspection?
Yes. That's been confirmed with Doug Romano.
Because this appears to be considerable savings from what we had
Oh,
been
yeah.
given in
In the
plans.
originals, yeah.
Yeah, another engineering firm gave us,
Yeah.
estimate was significantly higher.
Anyone else on council on that one? And item C is a continued discussion. It's been on the agenda previously, and it's looking for updates and what I had received, and I think Councilman Wilk had as well, an email letter from Mike Tierney as to update status report for the J Street, what's been referred to as the Boy Scout building, and upgrades and progress and status. So I know everyone been jointly working on it. I don't know who wants to take. I know you've been subject matter of at least one meeting.
We had a meeting today at 3 o'clock was the latest meeting. We had a video conference call, I guess it's called, with the engineer pertaining to the architectural plans. The architect was also on the phone. We discussed the interior and exterior needs of the building, the handicap, it's based handicap entrance, and the modifications needed to the bathroom. Modifications needed on the inside are fairly minor, to say the least. There's basically the bathroom wall, both walls need to be removed and moved slightly about 1 foot and 18 inches out. And the sink gets switched around on the inside of the bathroom, and then the sink that's on the exterior of the bathroom gets moved to the back where the sink is in the bathroom. So they're back to back. And that gave us all of our compliance issues. So it's very minor work on the inside. The exterior is the handicap ramp and a handicap spot and a walkway from the parking spot to the ramp. Anything I miss? But
No,
we're pushing it along. We told them that urgency is, it's
When
high
we-
priority.
When I pressed the engineer on a timeline, he said 3 to 4 weeks to get plans, so.
I don't know how much we can push this.
Not the answer any of us wanted to hear.
I know Marty and a host of volunteers actually did the work the first time. The interior is very well kept up. It's beautiful.
The inside, actually, the bathroom floor and everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing how
Yeah.
it's in really exceptional condition on the inside. But the bathroom, it just doesn't meet the code requirements.
And those plans are a necessity in order to meet the parameters to get the money
Grant.
from the grant that we were fortunate to just have awarded. That's the catch-22.
It
We
is.
can't- we
How
can't
much
do-
cost you for them to
Plus the
do
building
plan?
permit for the,
Yeah.
very minor. I think the toilet, if I'm not mistaken, stays in the same location. It's the sink, so it's
It
only
has to be a wider door, right?
wider door and the bathroom wall moves out. I don't have the plans in front of me. It's like a foot and maybe 14, 16 inches. That's in
Yeah.
one other direction. Very minor.
Because I know members of the public, including Mr. and others, are very anxious to have that up and running before the weather gets cold.
Too bad you can't draw it and have the engineer just sign off that it meets your things, 3 to 4 weeks, and
Too
that
bad
cost
weekend
is...
warriors didn't go in and just do
Huh?
it. Good thing
Yeah.
weekend warriors didn't go in and just do it.
It's 3 to 4 weeks to get the drawings.
It's gonna cost
For the
you
TNN,
for-
yeah.
Well, if
They're the only
anyone,
ones that can do
obviously,
it.
the
No,
committee knows that
It's frustrating.
should be given high priority.
It is, it is. We could not have spoken about that enough during the meeting. And, you know, the handicap ramp is only 17 inches of incline. It's not a huge ramp, but when you do it mathematically, it turns into a U, and it's quite a bit to do.
The space outside to meet the code.
That's correct. One parking spot has to be concrete with a concrete walk to the ramp.
Well, whatever the committee can do to expedite it would be very welcome by the public, I would say.
Right.
And there's nothing you can do in parallel to these 3 or 4 weeks, right? Yeah,
No, without
Not
plans.
really.
Yeah, you can't move. Legally, you can't
Contract
move.
without plans, and then
Anyone else on council on those? Those were the items that had come in. Anyone else on council? Any work session items? Karen or administrator, anyone else? If not, I'll go into the public if anyone has any comments on any work session items, if you could give your name into the record. Yes.
Nelson Rosenbring, 122 M Street. Mr. Mayor, what is RVE?
It's the name of an engineering company. It's called Remington Vernick
engineers.
Engineering.
Okay, and what is their main goal in acquiring them for this?
Maintain our credit rating so for flood insurance, things of that nature.
CRS
It's
rating.
called the CR Community Rating System,
Oh, that's what that is.
and they take a survey of the entire town, make sure we're in compliance, our buildings are raised, and it helps with our National Flood program.
That's a requirement?
Keeps your premiums
Is that
down.
a state requirement?
Well, if you don't do it, you're gonna have
Insurance
Flood
rate.
insurance rates, will go, your flood insurance rates will go.
Rating for the community rating system
Right.
for 15%.
All right, good. What is the square footage of the J Street building? Does anybody know?
I don't have the plans in front of me.
Approximate? Is it 2,000, 4,000?
I think you once said it's meant to hold, like maybe 40 or 50
I don't
people.
remember how many square feet. I'm gonna tell you.
Don't
this.
guess.
I'm not gonna
Don't
guess. I do
Don't
not
guess.
have the answer.
Don't guess.
It would have an occupancy of approximately 40 people, is that right?
I once heard that, I don't know if that's true or not.
Are we expanding the building or just improving it?
They're not expanding,
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's just interior renovation.
We're not doing any expansion. We're making ADA compliant.
Okay. Was there any discussion about expanding it?
No, we never discussed that.
No,
Don't want to go there?
no.
No need to?
Why spend the money you don't have to?
Yeah, if you don't have to, but was there any discussion as to we're expanding it, to open it up to other venues, or pros and cons? I mean,
No, there was no
There was never
discussion.
No discussion about
okay, I'm just curious.
Let's see if it gets used.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments on work session items? Hearing none, I would close the work session and entertain a motion from council to adjourn the work session, take a brief moment, and then begin our regular meeting?
So moved, Mayor.